They're looking for names and events that can capture the imagination of the public and get literally tens of millions of people, really around the world, to experience the same thing at the same time, which almost never happens anymore. It's a big deal.
But when you talking about this fight, right? I mean, great names. And is it like a thing of, we talking about the money it's gonna generate? Yeah, it's probably gonna generate so much money. But if you're a true boxing fan and you love the sport of boxing and you see that Netflix put it together, when Pacquiao fought Floyd, even was it 2014? What was that? When did they fight for that big fight? 2015. Whatever it was, when they fought. And it was so hyped up, and I couldn't wait. And it wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
It was past its expiration.
Because they should have been fighting both at their peaks, and they're like, okay, Floyd, Pacquiao. They didn't give us that. So now we're going to fast forward it, and we're going to fight again?
The result would have been the same. The result would have been the same.
I mean, I agree.
But you can argue it.
I know you're going to say that,
You can argue it, though, man.
No. I think I would have always favored Mayweather to win the fight. The point is that because it happened after its expiration date, we will never have the actual answer. You and I might agree.
If they make it a real fight with the real rules, then yeah, it's an okay night for boxing.
Who would you back? Who do you think would win it? If it's a real fight, because that's what Pacquiao wants, it seems.
Yeah, I think Mayweather will. I think Mayweather will take.
Primo Lopez, Mayweather just announced his return to the ring. What do you think? Break it down. For Manny Pacquiao, 9-figure payday.
9-figure payday. It can happen again, of course.
You know him. You've been in the gym.
Yeah. I've been with Floyd. I've talked to him and everything.
If Floyd Mayweather is still who he is, I think Floyd Mayweather will win. I don't know. We have to see. They're both older guys. I think Floyd is 50. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to disrespect in any type of way, but he's a 50-year-old.
Floyd Mayweather just threw his perfect 50-0 record on the line, and the reason behind this comeback is way darker than anyone's talking about. While everyone's celebrating the Pacquiao rematch announcement, there's a massive lawsuit brewing that reveals exactly why Money Mayweather suddenly needs money again.
There's reports saying that Floyd may do a professional fight.
What did you say?
There's word that potentially Floyd might come out and do a professional fight.
Oh yeah?
What's your thoughts on it, as a fan?
I mean, as a fan, I feel like I see what they're doing. They see like the influencer has just turned it into like, I'm not gonna say a whole circus show, but I feel like they see if these people can come in here and make all this money, then why can't the legends of boxing do that? I feel like they're all the legends of boxing looking at them like that. And I don't have a problem with them coming back and fighting, but I mean, it's not as exciting as it once.
Netflix just dropped the bombshell that sent shockwaves through the boxing world. Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao, Round 2, happening September 19th at the Sphere in Las Vegas. But here's what's got everyone's attention. This isn't another exhibition where they dance around for 12 rounds and collect easy paychecks. This is a legitimate professional fight, which means Mayweather's legendary undefeated record is actually at risk. The man who retired as the supposed king of boxing is officially coming out of retirement. And when you dig into what's happening behind the scenes, you'll understand this isn't about legacy or competition. This is about survival. Netflix isn't just streaming this fight to their 325 million subscribers worldwide because they love boxing. They're positioning themselves to dominate live sports, and they know this rematch carries the kind of star power that breaks the internet. But what they're not telling you is how desperate both fighters might actually be to make this happen.
Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao are going to fight once more on September the 19th. Now, this is not an exhibition. This is a professional fight. Floyd Mayweather has officially come out of retirement. Yep, Floyd Money Mayweather and Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao are going to meet in a professional rematch Saturday, September the 19th of this year at the Sphere in Las Vegas. So they're getting it on.
Now here's where things get absolutely wild. Everyone's acting like this is just two legends wanting one more dance. But Floyd Mayweather is currently in the middle of a legal war that nobody's talking about. The man who supposedly made over $1 billion in his career just filed a lawsuit in California court seeking $340 million from Showtime and their former sports president Steven Espinoza. And the allegations are insane. According to Mayweather's legal team, Showtime helped orchestrate a complex financial fraud scheme that diverted massive chunks of his fight earnings into hidden accounts that he couldn't access. We're talking about money from some of his biggest fights, including potentially the first Pacquiao bout, being rooted away from him while he was getting paid what he thought were his full purses. Financial records were allegedly withheld, making it impossible for Floyd to even audit his own career earnings. So when you see him posting training videos and talking about coming back for competition, understand what's really happening. The man who flaunted his wealth for decades might have discovered that much of that wealth was stolen from him.
It'll be exciting for the people and the fans.
Like, hey, this is not, we're going to have fun, we're going to throw a few punches, like I'm taking this seriously and I'm trying to fight Tyson?
I don't know. I just want to give the fans what they want to see, excitement. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be an exciting event. And if people from all around the world is going to enjoy it.
Last time we see you in there, do you think we've got...
I don't know. I don't know. But, I mean, I'm glad that I'm able to just still be able to entertain for the people and they still get a chance to see it, just a glimpse of me.
Yeah, is it exciting to be like, this is your life for so long with Floyd fighting this guy, fighting Manny, fighting Conor, and all those, you were just at the center of all these talks for so many years. Is it exciting to be back there again and everyone talking about you and Mike and all of that stuff?
This title, legend versus legend. So, I mean, that speaks for itself.
But get this, the boxing world is split on what this rematch actually means. Former champion Teofimo Lopez Jr. is already calling Mayweather the clear favorite, pointing to his defensive mastery and ring intelligence. Oscar de la Hoya agrees that Floyd wins, but he's calling the whole thing entertainment rather than legitimate competition. Meanwhile, Teofimo Lopez Sr. thinks nobody's going to care enough to watch despite all the hype. And you know what's fascinating? They're all missing the real story. This isn't about who wins or loses in the ring. This is about two aging fighters who need this payday more than they're willing to admit. Manny Pacquiao already revealed in recent interviews that he felt robbed in their first fight, not just by the judges, but by outside influences that he says can corrupt even the best people. That's not just trash talk. That's a man who's been thinking about this for 9 years, waiting for another shot.
Heard he's fighting somebody else, right?
A pro fight, he said.
Well, he's coming out of retirement to fight pro.
That's the rumor.
It's very...
Here's the kicker that nobody saw coming. George Kambosos Jr. and Roy Jones Jr. are out here talking about Pacquiao like he's still in his prime, saying the 8-division world champion has what it takes to finally beat Mayweather. But they're not just hyping up an old fighter trying to relive past glory. They're supporting a legend who might be facing his own financial pressures. Think about it, Pacquiao's been involved in politics in the Philippines, he's had business ventures, and he's been out of big money boxing for years. Meanwhile, Mayweather's discovering that his career earnings might have been systematically stolen. Both fighters are at ages where they should be retired and counting their money, but instead, they're stepping back into the ring for what could be the most important payday of their lives. Frank Martin said it best when he noted that Floyd might have been training quietly overseas, and fans have no idea what kind of shape he's really in. But here's what we do know. A man doesn't risk a perfect record unless he absolutely has to.
Obviously, a rematch between Mayweather and Pacquiao, even at this stage, would classify as a big event for Netflix, and I think there's a real possibility this is going to happen. Mayweather is now 46, I believe, and Pacquiao's around the same age. But look, this was the biggest fight in boxing history when it happened, and I think all these years later, a rematch, if it happens, especially after the way Pacquiao looked in July against Barrios, there would be serious.
And let me tell you something about Netflix's role in all this. They're not just streaming a boxing match, they're making a massive power play in live sports. After breaking streaming records with other big events, Netflix sees this rematch as their chance to prove they can compete with traditional pay-per-view models. Instead of charging fans $80 to watch, they're betting that the global reach of their platform will attract millions of new subscribers and generate revenue through sponsorships and international exposure that dwarfs what a traditional PPV could make. But here's what's really genius about their strategy. They know that this fight carries drama that goes way beyond what happens in the ring. The lawsuit, the financial troubles, the age questions, the legacy implications. Netflix isn't just buying a boxing match. They're buying a soap opera that happens to end with two legends trying to punch each other.
And maybe this is it.
Hey, everything happens for a reason. I mean, Floyd knows what he's doing. He's based in 9 figures for a reason, man. He's not dumb, man. He's a businessman.
If they do fight again, what happens?
Floyd wins. Floyd wins. Floyd wins easily.
Let me ask your dad, Junior, did you hear about this? Mayweather just announced his return to the ring. He says he's coming back this year to fight Manny Pacquiao. Him and Manny are in Japan together right now.
Yeah, but who the hell wants to see that fight?
People.
The training footage that Floyd's been posting tells its own story. He's not just staying in shape for fun. This is a man preparing for war. The precision work on the mitts, the conditioning, the focus in his eyes, this doesn't look like someone coming back for an easy exhibition payday. This looks like someone who knows his entire legacy and financial future might depend on what happens on September 19th. And when you consider that he's facing a fighter who's been publicly saying he got robbed in their first encounter, the stakes couldn't be higher. Manny Pacquiao isn't just coming for a rematch, he's coming for vindication. He's coming to prove that the judges got it wrong, that the shoulder injury excuses were real, and that given a fair fight, he's the better man.
Mayweather, to me, was my mentor. I loved him. I mean, I followed him. Everything that my son knows, a lot of things that he knows. I got it from Floyd. But then I had to pick it up. I had to get some other people, Triple G, Mike Tyson. So I put more stuff into my son, not only Floyd, you know what I'm saying?
So if Floyd,
and I give him props, man. If he can make it happen, let him make it happen.
Well, you're not surprised if it happens?
No, of course not. I mean,
I won't be surprised.
If Floyd comes back, he's gonna come back for 6
Floyd, please, man. If it is the last, please let it be the last one, bro. Floyd don't got it no more, man. He don't have it no more.
What do you mean?
The reaction,
Listen,
he's getting older,
I used to watch all his videos.
Listen, Floyd ain't stupid. Floyd ain't
go back and watch his videos.
But wait, it gets even crazier. The timing of this announcement, right as Mayweather's lawsuit details are becoming public, isn't a coincidence. Think about it, if Floyd really is missing hundreds of millions from his career earnings, he needs to generate massive income fast. A Netflix deal for a global audience with potential bonuses and sponsorship opportunities might be his best shot at recovering financially while he fights the legal battle. And Pacquiao. He gets the chance to rewrite history and secure his own financial future in the process. This isn't just about two fighters wanting one more big fight. This is about two legends who might need this more than they've ever needed anything in their careers.
One thing about Mayweather you have to understand is he's always taken care of himself. Like, his body, physically, mentally. He's always been very sharp and always staying in the gym and doing something physically, right? That's the big advantage he has. I mean, he's an athlete. He's a world-class athlete. Watching Pacquiao's last fight, yeah, you kind of feel bad. You kind of feel bad for him, and even though he did win and he did, I guess, pull off a surprise in his last fight with a draw against the world champion. But still, you tend to kind of like feel bad because it's not the same Pacquiao. It's definitely not the same Pacquiao I faced. That's for sure. The one that put me on my stool in the 9th round.
So here's the reality nobody wants to face. We're not just watching a rematch between two all-time greats. We're watching what might be the most desperate high-stakes gamble in boxing history. Floyd Mayweather is risking the only thing he has left that can't be stolen from him, his perfect record. Manny Pacquiao is betting everything on proving that he was the better fighter all along. And Netflix is gambling that the drama behind the scenes is compelling enough to change how we consume live sports forever. The question isn't who wins the fight, it's whether either of these legends can survive what they're really fighting for. What do you think, is this desperation or determination? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, smash that like button if this breakdown opened your eyes to what's really happening, and subscribe because this story is just getting started. When two legends have everything to lose, September 19th isn't just going to be a fight, it's going to be a reckoning.
Excited and ready to go for his next fight.
Talking about negotiations and talks, I don't know if you've seen this news. Mayweather and Pacquiao.
The deeper you dig into this situation, the more disturbing it becomes. Sources close to Mayweather's camp are whispering about financial audits that revealed discrepancies going back over a decade. We're not just talking about missing money from recent fights. This allegedly involves systematic diversion of funds from his biggest paydays, including the first Pacquiao fight that generated over $600 million worldwide. When Floyd's team started asking questions about where certain payments went, they hit walls of corporate bureaucracy and missing documentation that would make your head spin. The man who built his entire brand around flaunting wealth might have been living off a fraction of what he actually earned, while the rest disappeared into a maze of accounts and shell companies.
This will do more than the Tyson Jake Paul fight. This will do like 150, 200 million. No, it's not pay-per-view.
Netflix, would do good.
200 million people, 150.
You know, good thing Netflix is getting involved, man. Putting up a lot of money for the guys.
Yeah.
And Mayweather Pacquiao, they're gonna make a couple $100 million each.
I think so.
Good for them.
As they should.
Good for them.
But you knew, you told me today, even without knowing, you knew it was coming.
Before having an exhibition, that's the way it looked like. So that was done? September 19th?
September 19th.
September, the Mexican Independence Day weekend?
Yeah, in the Sphere, nonetheless. That's that round thing.
But isn't Canelo fighting on that day?
No, he's fighting in Saudi on the 12th.
Yeah, but Mexico versus, that's right.
So this is a week after.
You mean the Sphere?
Yeah.
That's big time.
Yeah, it's very few seats in there.
Yeah, that's big time.
The game will break records. I'm sure it's going to be major.
Yeah, because I heard that special, only special events and special concerts.
And here's what's absolutely insane about the legal filing. Mayweather's attorneys claim they have evidence of forged documents and falsified financial statements that were used to hide the true scope of his earnings. Picture this. You think you're getting paid $100 million for a fight, but the real revenue from your performance was actually $200 million, and that extra $100 million got funneled somewhere you can't track. The lawsuit alleges that Showtime executives were complicit in creating fake paper trails that made it impossible for Floyd to even know how much money he should have been receiving. This isn't just theft. This is sophisticated corporate fraud on a scale that would make Bernie Madoff jealous.
In my belief, in my heart, that I thought I won the fight.
Okay, but do you want the rematch in part? How do you view him just as a person, not about the fight, but you've expressed before that you never really liked what he stood for outside the ring as a person, and you would like to defeat him because of that. Is that fair to say?
I'm what I see him outside the ring is of course I don't want to blame him, but the way he grow with the wrong community, and you have to know how to respect and how to, not too arrogant or anything. I'm not saying that, but sometimes bad company corrupt good character.
Wait until you hear about Pacquiao's side of this story, because it's equally devastating. Multiple sources in the Philippines are reporting that Manny's political career and charitable work have drained far more of his resources than anyone realized. The man who became a senator and spent millions helping his countrymen might have given away more money than he kept. His team has been quietly shopping for big money fights for months, but nothing materialized until this Netflix opportunity appeared. When you combine that with persistent rumors about bad investments and business partners who took advantage of his generous nature, you start to understand why this rematch suddenly became so attractive to both fighters.
Surprising. Obviously, I know Manny very well. He's a true competitor. He's a guy that if you put something in his head, and obviously to create more history, he's a guy that's going to give everything and try his best. That's what Manny. One thing I always learned with Manny is give 110% and try your best no matter what. So he's going to give it his all. Again, you can't beat Father Time, but Father Time is hard, and it was very hard watching him fight Lucas, and you could see it. And then watching the exhibition he had with the Korean guy or the Japanese guy in last year, it was hard to watch. I know Manny, I know the man that I was sparring. I love that guy. So, but again, he's a legend. And
the medical reports from their first fight are finally starting to surface, and they paint a picture that completely changes how we should view that controversial decision. Pacquiao's shoulder injury wasn't just some excuse medical documents show. He was dealing with a torn rotator cuff that required surgery immediately after the fight. But here's the kicker. His team allegedly wanted to postpone the bout, but contractual obligations and financial pressures forced them to go through with it. Imagine fighting the greatest defensive boxer of all time with one arm basically useless, and then getting criticized for years because people thought you were making excuses. That kind of unfinished business doesn't just fade away. It eats at a competitor's soul.
You feel about Manny Pacquiao?
No, I
as
love
a fighter
Manny, and I'm
overall?
glad Manny going in too. Manny is one of the dudes that I think definitely deserves to be in. Manny always has been and always will be one of my favorites because of the way he fights. I mean, a guy to come back after being knocked out in 2 of his first 3 fights, then come back and do all the things that Manny did. That story is also just as awesome as Vinny Pazienza's story. You feel me? I mean, come on. Most guys can't bounce back from a knockout period. He got knocked out early in his career twice and came back and did all.
Netflix's involvement adds another layer of complexity that most people aren't grasping. Their sports streaming strategy isn't just about boxing. They're trying to revolutionize how we consume live events entirely. They've already proven they can handle massive simultaneous viewership with their biggest shows, but live sports present technical challenges that could make or break their reputation. If this fight streams flawlessly to hundreds of millions of viewers worldwide, Netflix becomes a major player in sports entertainment overnight. But if their servers crash during the biggest moments, or if there are technical glitches that ruin the viewing experience, it could set back their sports ambitions by years. The pressure on their technical team is probably more intense than what the fighters are feeling.
You're going to kill me for asking one more question, but Floyd Mayweather just announced that he's coming back to fight. At first, it's going to be an exhibition with Mike Tyson, but he's actually saying he's coming back as a pro to like actually take on fights. What do you think of that?
Hey, if he still got it, he got it, you know. Hey, Floyd is Floyd, you know. He may been working he may be working over there out the country somewhere, you know, we don't know nothing about, but Floyd is Floyd. He can do it.
The psychological warfare between these two camps has already started, and it's more vicious than their first encounter. Pacquiao's recent interviews contain subtle digs about fighters who care more about their records than about proving who's actually better. Meanwhile, Floyd's social media posts are showcasing a level of physical conditioning that seems almost impossible for someone his age. But body language experts who have analyzed their recent public appearances say both men are carrying stress that goes beyond normal pre-fight nerves. These aren't confident superstars talking trash. These are desperate men trying to project strength while dealing with pressures that could destroy their legacies.
Gambling problem, of course his situation's unstable. I mean, this is about as predictable as anything I could imagine. Steve, how old is Floyd at this point?
47, and he has not had a real fight since 2015 when he beat Berto. Then he had the foray against Conor McGregor 2017, and he's done some exhibitions. And I don't know if you know this, Jason, but he actually made an official announcement with a press release. I'm unretiring, get this, after my exhibition with Mike Tyson in April.
I heard this, yeah.
So that's in the Congo, Rumble in the Jungle Part 2. But yeah, it's for the money. If you, just Google Floyd's name and the IRS. All the news is out there. He owes jewelers money. There's back paid rent for real estate in New York. It's clear that he is now part of the no money team.
The financial projections for this event are staggering in ways that most people can't comprehend. Netflix is reportedly paying a combined purse that exceeds $200 million, but that's just the beginning. International broadcasting rights, sponsorship deals, and merchandise agreements could push the total revenue past the billion-dollar mark. For comparison, their first fight generated massive pay-per-view numbers, but this Netflix model could reach audiences in countries where traditional PPV never penetrated. We're talking about simultaneous viewing in over 190 countries, with real-time translation and cultural adaptation that makes the event accessible to fans who couldn't participate in their first encounter.
We know that Floyd's in deep right now because he is suing Al Heyman and Showtime for $340 million. So it's understandable why Floyd is doing this, and Floyd has done exhibition after exhibition to the point where he's tarnished his drawing power in boxing. But we're going to talk about all this. Let's get started. What the is going on? Does anyone even give a about this, or is it just flat out sad? I said on Twitter, get ready for a night of embarrassing tendonitis and joint ache after all that we've seen from these two great fighters, because it's going to be an absolute mess.
He claims the money is...
Here's something that'll blow your mind about the venue choice. The Sphere in Las Vegas isn't just some fancy new arena. It's a technological marvel that could completely transform how boxing matches are experienced. The venue's 16K resolution, wraparound screens, and spatial audio systems mean that fans inside will feel like they're in the middle of the action in ways that traditional arenas can't match. But more importantly for Netflix, the Sphere's advanced broadcast capabilities allow for camera angles and viewing experiences that could make home viewers feel more connected to the fight than people in cheaper seats. This isn't just about finding a place for two guys to punch each other. This is about creating a multimedia experience that justifies Netflix's massive investment.
Mayweather is the one that seems like he needs the money more right now. Our guy, Andreas Hale, wrote a story that is kind of went somewhat viral. That's crazy, the laugh faces. Although Floyd Mayweather Jr. made hundreds of millions of dollars from his professional boxing career and topped the Forbes list as the highest paid athlete from 2012 to 2014, the boxer is said to have been shortchanged and filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Showtime. The lawsuit filed Tuesday, and obtained by ESPN seeks to recover hundreds of millions of dollars, misappropriated funds, and damages resulting from a long-running and elaborate scheme of financial fraud, breaches in fiduciary duty, and conspiracy orchestrated by Floyd J. Mayweather's former manager and advisor, Al Heyman, with the knowing and substantial participation and aid of defendants Showtime Networks and Steven Espinoza. Mayweather, who's 48, says he is owed at least $340 million and cites a complex web of hidden accounts, unauthorized transactions, and deliberate concealment of financial records.
Despite everything,
The ripple effects throughout the boxing industry are already causing chaos that extends far beyond these two fighters. Promotional companies are scrambling to lock up other big names before Netflix decides to make more direct deals with fighters. Traditional broadcasters like HBO and Showtime are facing questions about whether their pay-per-view models can survive when streaming giants offer global access for the price of a monthly subscription. Young fighters coming up through the ranks are suddenly wondering if their career paths need to include streaming platform relationships instead of just traditional promotional deals. We might be witnessing the beginning of the end for boxing, as we've known it for decades.
Viral.
Slide and drop.
The training camps for both fighters are shrouded in secrecy that goes beyond normal fight preparation. Floyd's team has reportedly brought in specialists who normally work with athletes half his age, focusing on recovery techniques and conditioning methods that could give him advantages that pure talent can't provide. Meanwhile, Pacquiao's camp in the Philippines has been working with nutritionists and sports scientists who have been developing strategies specifically designed to exploit any weaknesses that age might have created in Mayweather's defensive style. These aren't just two old fighters trying to recapture past glory. These are sophisticated operations using cutting-edge science to maximize every possible advantage.
Content.
When people say the biggest fight in boxing history, if you don't adjust for inflation, et cetera, or tickets sold, et cetera, Joe Louis and Max Schmeling, the rematch, Ali and Frazier, the first fight, these were the biggest fights in boxing history. But Mayweather and Pacquiao was easily the biggest fight of its era, of the generation. And it was the highest grossing fight of all time. Because it had 4.4 million pay-per-view buys at $100 a pop. Do the math, right? It's interesting because Netflix is obviously in the business of, you said, eventizing. Everyone, they want enormous events that become shared experiences. In a way, in this day and age, partly because of delivery systems of content like Netflix, everything is so niche. Everything is so compartmentalized that there's very few shared experiences. It's one of the reasons that the NFL is such a big deal, because the NFL can get tens of millions of people to watch the same thing at the same time. That almost never happens anymore. except it happened with Crawford.
The global implications of this fight extend into territories that sports analysts are barely beginning to understand. Netflix's international reach means that countries where boxing has been declining could suddenly see massive renewed interest in the sport. Streaming accessibility removes barriers that have kept boxing from growing in emerging markets, and the cultural impact of seeing two legends compete could inspire a new generation of fighters worldwide. But there's also the economic reality that local boxing promotions might not be able to compete with the production values and global reach that streaming platforms can provide. What's really fascinating is how this fight could reshape negotiations for future sporting events across all disciplines. If Netflix proves they can generate more revenue through global streaming than traditional broadcasters can through regional deals, every major sport is going to have to reconsider how they distribute content. The NFL, NBA, and other major leagues are undoubtedly watching this experiment closely, because the implications for their own broadcast contracts could be worth billions of dollars. Floyd and Manny might not just be fighting for their own financial futures, they might be determining the future of sports entertainment for the next decade. The personal stakes for both fighters go beyond anything they've ever faced in their careers. For Mayweather, this fight represents the chance to prove that his skills transcend whatever financial manipulation might have occurred behind the scenes. Win or lose, he'll have demonstrated that his value as a fighter can't be stolen or hidden in offshore accounts. For Pacquiao, victory would validate decades of believing he was the better fighter, while defeat might end his career with the permanent question mark of what could have been. Neither man can afford to lose, but both are risking everything they have left to find out who was really the best.